Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to a new edition of the Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Coulter. And to my far right, got my co-host, Kevin Johnson, KJ. And in the middle, we got today's special guest, former Conference USA. He's a former Bearcat. They're in the BCS standings right now, University of Cincinnati. Also played in Arena Football League in 2005 with Grand Rapids Rampage. And he played with other teams in the Arena League as well. Today's guest is a Conference USA player, and he goes by the name of Cornelius Bonner. What's going on, Cornelius?
What's up, man? How y'all doing, gentlemen? Pleasure being with you guys.
Move your camera up some.
Move my camera up a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Go ahead and get centered for us.
Okay. How was that?
I can't even see your forehead.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
Man. It's a pleasure. Thank y'all for having me this evening, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. For the people that don't know you, Cornelius, let them know where you're from and a little bit about your background.
Man, I was born and raised in Gaffney, South Carolina. I grew up in Gaffney. 3-bedroom house. 14 people, man, just grinding. I had a lovely mother, Gwen Bonner. Father, Cornelius, just a hard-working guy, man. Come from 2 hard workers. My dad worked in construction, poured concrete, and my mom, she hit the mill, man, working at swing kill.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Background, man. We got it out of the mud for real.
That's right.
Sir. You know what that's like.
Yeah, Cornelius. So, hey, what age you start playing sports, and what sport was your first love?
Well, KJ, I started competing, man, just at the house, man. I learned a lot about competing in my house, man. When you grew up in a 3-bedroom house, you got 14 people. You learn to compete, man, at an early age. Getting out of the bed, going to the bathroom, that's competition. Getting to the table, that's competition.
Yeah.
We went to the table. If you didn't get to the table in time, sometimes you didn't eat.
Ooh, wow.
Especially when we had cereal, man. If you didn't get to the table in time, you was using water and carnation milk, and sometimes you eat your cornflakes out of a pot with a fork, man. So I've learned to be, crafty and gritty at an early age.
Okay.
Catch up, man. Sandwich.
Oh yeah, man. That was a part of it. But I started playing ball at the age of 8, man, and competition has always been a part of my my blood. It's always been in my blood, man. Like I say, just the environment that I grew up in, the neighborhood that I grew up in. Competition was it was second nature. You had to do it if you wanted to win. I learned how to win early, man, and that didn't start on the field. That started inside my house, brother.
Woo. Okay, cool. So, what was the first sport you played? I think KJ asked, was it football or was it something else?
First sport I played was football. I come from a background, and my brother, they played it. I had cousins that played it. It was just kind of expected of us, and they not only played it, but they excelled at it. And so, growing up in the Bonner's household, just being a Bonner period in the Gaffney area, expectations are on you to do something great. And I just kind of followed suit. Douglas, we used to call my cousin Douglas, who played at Gaffney High. He played at Gardner Webb. They used to call him 30 Wonderful. You hear names like 30 Wonderful, you got to be a ball player in order to get that type of description bestowed upon you. He not only done it well in college, but he had a little stint where, he got an opportunity to play for the Redskins. And then, cousins like Brad Bonner. Then, my brother Cecil, who grew up in the household with me. He was a phenomenal ball player. He went on to attend the University of Gardner Webb as well. And so, having people that are related and connected to you, I kind of felt like if they did it, I could do it as well. So they kind of paved the way, man, and put in that grind and made it happen.
Yeah, that's what's
Okay,
up.
cool.
Yeah, so name some famous athletes you looked up to, man, when you was younger to help you out with your craft.
You know what? One athlete in particular, we had a couple, athletes. I love Rice. I love everything about Jerry Rice's work ethic. I love everything about his background. But I tell you what, there was a gentleman that I looked up to uh, back in Gaffney. I admired this guy, his style of play, his game. His name was Willie Dover, and
Willie.
I thought he was I thought he was a Jerry Rice type ball player. And I remember being outside, receiver was my thing. And I can
Yeah.
remember running down, the street or in the yard saying, "Hey, Willie Dover," the reception. But
Yes.
Jerry Rice was the guy because of not just him being a great ball player, but his work ethic, his background.
Yes.
Jerry Rice grew up in a construction type background, and I grew up in a construction family.
That's right.
So I really admired that guy.
Right, cool. So what was the first position you played when you started youth football?
When I started youth football, the first position I played was actually linebacker. They
Okay.
used to call me.
Wood.
They used to call me. They used to call me Tub Head, man. And I got that. I got that name honestly, man. I was just known. We would be out there in the yard, man. I was just known. I thought spearing was a wonderful way to take somebody down, and I just kind of developed a brick, and a love for contact. I remember when first showing up at practice, Coach Marlon Keller, and there was another kid out there who was pretty tough. And he kind of spaced us out about 5 yards, man, and told us to go after each other. And I remember ramming that kid, man, every opportunity I got. I rammed him, 2 or 3 times. And, man, eventually he just, Clay Duncan, he just set out and said, "Man, I don't want to do this no more." So, but a linebacker.
That's what's
Okay,
up.
cool, cool. All right. So you play any other sports besides football after that first year?
Played a little baseball. I like baseball a little bit. That was fun.
Okay.
It's kind of some it was a community. I was first introduced to it in my community. We had so many young boys around my age growing up. You know, we competed in just about everything, whether it was dirt bikes, whether it was football, whether it was getting together. We had enough young men in the community not only to play football, but we had enough young men in the community to play baseball too as well. We had some guys that were pretty good at it, and just by being there in that community, Wesley Park, I developed a love for it. We'd go out on the dirt hill. We used to call it the dirt hill, which was a location in our neighborhood. And the older guys would get out there and play, and we would kind of sit and watch them on the hill, compete. Man, they took that thing serious, and
Yeah.
developed some pretty good ball players coming out of there. My brother, even though he went to school in football, my brother was actually a Hall of Famer in high school baseball. So,
All right.
I got it honestly, man. I grew up around guys that did it, that excelled at it. And I wanted to do it because, they done it too as well. But competing, man, it was our nature, man. We grew up doing it, whether that was, out in the yard, tackling, hitting the ball, or riding a dirt bike, popping wheelies, it was just a part of, my makeup.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
What positions in baseball though you was playing? Was it pitcher, outfield?
Man, I played the hot spot. I played shortstop.
Shortstop.
Shortstop. Okay.
Okay.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
You can sling it.
Oh yeah, I could pick it up, man, and had a decent arm where I could get you out to. Had a pretty good glove, man. So I did well.
All right.
Cool. Cool. So you go into like middle school or high school. What position are you playing in football?
You know, let me share this with you because a lot of people, let me give you just a little bit more of my background
Okay.
in the settings that I grew up in. I've always considered myself to be a gifted individual, but I hadn't always been structured. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had talent, I had the skill set, but I didn't have the blueprint, so to speak. I had a desire, I had drive, I wanted to, I had a dream, but I hadn't always had that blueprint in order to accomplish the dream. I had some struggles due to my competitive nature. A lot of people would say attitude. You know, you had to have it. You know, especially playing football. Growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, when I transitioned, you know, I had a chip. When I transitioned into middle school, I was pretty decent at football, but I had some struggles. You know, it wasn't easy for me. In middle school, I started out the year, but I ended up getting kicked off. I got kicked off the football team my seventh grade year. I got kicked off the football team my eighth grade year. I got kicked off the football team my ninth grade year. I got kicked off the football team my 10th grade year. Almost got kicked off the football team my 11th grade year. What a lot of people fail to realize, the window of opportunity wasn't that great for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a coach that was understanding, uh, that believed in me, set me down and talked to me, and just kind of put things in perspective uh, for me as an athlete. And then with my brother, you know, him going on to play college football and him coming back and sharing and seeing him do it, you know, just kind of put things in perspective for me. So, man, I bought in. I did, you know, my 12th grade year, and matter of fact, I wasn't even starting in the 11th grade, and that's probably one of the reasons I was frustrated and almost led to me being kicked off. But we had a pretty good football team that year. We went on to win the state championship. But
All right.
I bought into it, man. I had 1 year left, 1 year, 1 year left. And I just bought in, man. I said, here goes nothing. I gave it my all. I applied myself,
Yeah.
you know, the blueprint, and man, doors at that particular moment just begin to fling open. Good things happen for me. I was playing on the same offense with, I had five guys that were blue chips on that football team. The backfield, the entire backfield, the quarterback, which was my cousin Tyrone, the fullback, which was a great friend of mine. I grew up playing ball with Charles, and Benny, who was our tailback at that time. Y'all remember back in the days, it was Street Smith. We had linebackers. One played at Tennessee, which was Jeff Coleman. We had another one, Ty Bias, which ended up playing at Gardner Well. Those five guys were blue chip. Everybody
Okay.
came when they showed up to watch Gaffney football. Everybody came to see those guys, and I said, "Well, if I'm going to make a break, now's the time." And so, out of that year, out of 11 ball games, I think 8 of those ball games, I ended up getting player of the game
Okay.
just by, you know, being out there, man, grinding, applying myself, and just some of those eyes that were on those guys begin to roll over, and they saw me. And you know, I tell the young bucks, I said, it ain't got to be your show. It's just that when you know the camera show up, you do your thing. And you can catch some eyes too. You can steal some of the attention too. So,
There you
man,
go.
it just worked out lovely for me. It was beautiful.
All right, cool.
What kind of team was y'all? Was y'all a running team or a passing team?
KJ, we was a running team, man. I mean, we was an option, man. Put it in the belly, 5 yards in a pile of dust, and
Okay.
here it is. You know, being on a running team like that, and it was a good running team. The quarterback was 1,000 yard rusher. The fullback
Mm-hmm.
was 1,000 yard rusher. The
Mm.
tailback was 1,000 yard rusher. And I said, you know what? I ended up being 1,000 yard receiver. But you know what? You can't be denied, you know, if you're bringing it consistently as a ball player, whatever you choose to do in life, if you're bringing it consistently day in and day out, there's no way you can be denied. You know, good things happen to those that apply themselves and who
Yeah.
does a good job consistently
Right.
well, I mean, on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Good
Yep.
stuff.
Yep. Did you guys make it to the playoffs in your high school?
Man, we were 14-0. We ended up going down, and that's when they hosted the state championship down at the Clemson. And we ended up playing Northwestern, a team that we had already beat earlier that season. We ended up playing them in the championship. And I remember back in 1991 when my brother and them went down to play the state championship versus Spring Valley at Will Bright Stadium in Columbia. And I
Okay.
remember they got beat by a field goal, which was 3-0. I said out of my mouth, I said, we would never lose a football game like that. And the reason why I said that is because how good they were. And being inside of the goal line, the 4-yard line, I think it's a 10-yard line, being inside of it 4 times and then come up with anything. And they lost 3-0. But
Wow.
boy, never say never. Because back in 1993, we were in the same situation. We had a blue star backfield. I said, there's no way, man, we'll be sitting right here inside of the goal line 3 or 4 times. We not only lose the game 3-0, we lost the game 2-0.
No.
Got beat
Dang.
by safety, brother. With all that talent and being inside the 10, and we could not put it in the end zone. Man, I never
Dang.
say never again.
Wow.
Wow,
So
man.
did you play any All-Star games?
Yeah.
Didn't play any All-Star games coming out. I think it was already set with the level
Mm-hmm.
of talent that we already had there, and the jump. You know, those guys. I came in my senior year and I done it well. I done it well enough to get doors to open up for me on the college level. But those guys were already established. They had been doing it since they were sophomores. I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but like I said, you know, the structure, the attitude, timing. You know, my attitude, I got in my way a lot, and I stayed in my way a lot until, you know, somebody, you know, believed in me, kind of revealed unto me, hey man, you got something here. How
Okay.
about, you know, let's get rid of the mess in your life, let's get rid of all the background noise, and
Mhm.
let's go for it. And I remember Joe Montgomery, man, who's my high school football coach, and I appreciate that guy to this day, man. I was getting ready to my senior year. I was getting ready to head to a baseball showcase. It was 83 teams up in Raleigh, North Carolina. And at this particular time, I had moved to center field, which I could track down a bit, track a ball.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
83 teams there at that showcase. And I had an opportunity to go. Some of my buddies that I played ball with, they went. And coach pulled me aside. He said, you know, he called me corny. He said, hey, corny, you only got one shot, man. Let's tell you, he said, if you would apply yourself, if you would work for me and apply yourself and do what you're supposed to do,
That's right.
I promise you, as a coach, I would do my part. And man, he he held true. He stayed true to form.
His word.
He honored his word, man. I done my part. I done all I knew to do. And
Yeah.
man, at the end of the day, uh, 1994, when they called names for scholarships and stuff, I walked across that stage with a scholarship.
Wow. All right.
And let me tell you
So
something. Let me tell you something about that scholarship now. Because when I came out, you know, due to my playing around in school, due to my attitude, you know, a lot of things you can bring on yourself. I ended up going to Dodge City, which is out in Kansas. And
Ooh.
man, you know, that's where they filmed this show. I don't know if y'all know old
Yeah.
westerns like Gunsmoke.
And bonus. Nothing to do.
So they filmed Gunsmoke, and man, you know, that attitude, uh, it followed me, man. It followed me to Dodge City, and you know, I just, you know, I had a little mouth. I'll be honest with you, I had a little mouth. I love
Yeah.
making plays. You know, if I made a play on you, you know, I talked about it. I let you know, hey, I'm here. And the coach at that particular time, Terry Suits, which was the head coach at Dodge City, he was not fun because he had a military background, just a real strict disciplinarian, which is good. You know, I needed that in my life too as well.
Mhm.
But to make a long story short, you know, I was a showboater. I think, I didn't think, I was a showboater, but he did. And one thing led to another. And I ended up getting kicked off the junior college football team. I got kicked off. My first year of junior college, I got kicked off. And I remember calling my mother, man. And I told my mother, I said, Mama, they kicked me off the football team. I said, meet me at the airport. I'm on my way home. And I remember my mother telling me just like this. She said, if you fly home, she said, I can guarantee you this. I'm not going to pick you up from the airport. Your cousins can come and get you. This is what my mother told me. And I could hear the seriousness in her voice.
Yeah,
She told me that if you get back here, you will not step foot in my house. Your clothes will be setting in the road. So here it is. I got kicked off the football team. The only other option is to get kicked out of my mother's house. And I didn't want that to happen.
No.
But to make a long story short, we reached out. I talked to my high school football coach, kind of let him know my situation. And so what he did, he reached back out to Georgia military, who was recruiting me in the first place. But I didn't have no military background. I didn't want to go to no military. All the things that I heard about Georgia military, I said, man, ain't no way I'm going down there.
Yeah,
I won't go. Plead period. You got to stay on campus for 6 weeks. And man, I remember going back down to Georgia military with my mother. My mother looked the administrator. She looked the head coach in his eyes. And she told him, she says, I don't have any money. She said, I don't have any money. She said, and coach said, well, let's just get him in. Let's just get him here. And my mother gave him an ultimatum. If he comes down here and do what he's supposed to do, I need for you guys to do what y'all are supposed to do. Right. And man, just having that opportunity, man, having another moment to get back involved in what I love. Remember when I stated early in the conversation, I was gifted. I've always been gifted, but I hadn't always been structured. And I didn't realize that the structure is what I needed in order to extract not only the gift out of me, but the greatness that was in me. And so what Georgia military did, Georgia military provided that structure, man. I'm talking about your hair had to be cut a certain way. Your bed had to be made a certain way. You had mandatory study halls. Your shoes had to be shined. Your pants had to be creased. Your buckle, your brass had to be shined. I mean, little details, small things. There could be no dust over the panel of your doors, nor your window, if you wanted to go home. But it was those little bitty things, man. It took me, and I played around in school. But that structure, that model down there at Georgia military, I've always been intelligent, but I used it in the wrong way. But that structure right there, man, took me from being a 2.5, 2.2 student to like a 3.8, 3.9 student, just by having that background, having that layout. But it made me so much better as an athlete too, because as an athlete, you guys know, you played the game. If you're gonna be good at what you do, you got to be detailed. Details matter.
Yep. So
man, just having that at Georgia military, sergeants breathing down your back, checking your room, making sure you got your door open at 8:40. And when they show up at 8:40, you better make sure you're in that room. If you weren't in that room, you'd be spending your time on the blacktop that next morning at 4:15 while everybody's in bed. And can you imagine at 4:15 in November and December? It's cold outside. And you're marching with BDUs and boots on while everybody else is getting their sleep. and you out there for 2 hours marching around singing cadences, you know, because saying I won't do it no more. But Georgia military, that's where maturity set in. That's where manhood began to set in for me. Age don't make you a man, but responsibility. And Georgia military provided all that, man. And that's why I made a great leap, not only as a person, but I made a great leap as a player.
Okay, cool. So talk about making that transition, going to the NCAA Division I, going to Cincinnati. Was that your next transition, or was it something else?
Cincinnati was my next transition for Georgia military. I figured, once I went through what I went through at Georgia military, that everything else would be easy.
Easy. That's right.
Because of the attention to detail. It was none for me to, show up at a mandatory study hall. It was already in me. That program, that format was already there, was already downloaded, had already been doing it for a year. So it was nothing new to me. Getting up in the morning, being out there on that blacktop by 5 o'clock, doing reveille, formation, lining up, doing parades and things of that nature. I kind of felt like going into the NCAA, I had an edge on a lot of guys who hadn't had that type of experience. And so I knew, details. There was nothing new to me. A lot of guys came in and they were talking, but, if you're going to excel at it, it's all about those details, the small things, being in meetings on time. When I mean by on time, if they say you got a meeting at 8 o'clock, that you're there at 7:45. That's on time. Studying your playbook, that was nothing new to me. Not only just studying the playbook, but going over above and beyond, asking all the right questions, being respectful, how you carry yourself, your manners, your appearance. I got all that stuff at Georgia military. So I felt like going into Cincinnati, I was already a year or two ahead of a lot of those guys who came in with me because of the structure that was provided at Georgia Military College.
Yeah. What coach from Cincinnati recruited you?
The coach that recruited me at the University of Cincinnati is Harbaugh, the head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. He was the one that came down to Georgia military and, talked to me. That guy has always been a phenomenal person. And, I knew, just his personality. He was a player's guy. He was a player's coach. And he's the kind of guy that you wanted to play for and you wanted to be around, made you feel good about who you were as a man, but most of all, who you were as a player too as well. He did what he said he would do. He told me everything that he told me during that recruiting visit when he came down to Georgia military. He stayed true to form, and I respect that.
All right, cool. Well, we got some highlights I want to show real quick from the University of Cincinnati. You guys played against Kentucky in this game. This is like 1996. I don't know if you remember. But for everybody that's watching, appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Deezer, and Spotify as well. Go ahead and get into this clip. Today's special guest is former University of Cincinnati Bearcat and former Grand Rapids Rampage wide receiver and linebacker Cornelius Bonner. All right, let's check out this clip real quick.
Man,
Yes, sir. We back. Brought back
man,
some memories, huh? That was the old VHSs, right?
I remember them days, man. It was fun. A lot of great ball players were on that team, man.
Yep.
Man.
Talk about
Memories.
them a little bit. Talk about some of your teammates. Who was the player that embraced you when you got to Cincinnati?
Sam Gorns, man. So many of them that embraced me. Sam Gorns, Brad Jackson, Chris Hewitt. Sam went on to play with the New York Jets, got drafted. Bartrell Hawkins got drafted. Started out with New England with the Patriots.
Okay.
Brad Jackson got drafted, ended up going to the Baltimore Ravens. Chris ended up going as a free agent to New Orleans. Jermaine Trent, Anthony Ladd, who ended up going to the Patriots. Robert Tate, who got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals at that particular time. It was a big old brotherhood, man. It was family. So many of those guys embraced me. They respected me, not only as a player, but also as a person. They enjoyed what I brought to the table, which allowed me to be a part of that success that they experienced early on. And man, I'm grateful. The program has come a long way. I remember
Yes.
Rick Manor, he was there. We had so many great coaches on this staff. Rick Coach, who was the head coach, he was the defense coordinator for Notre Dame under Lou Holtz prior to coming to Cincinnati. We had
Right.
Rex Ryan, who was the son of the famous Buddy Ryan, the
Buddy
4-6,
Ryan.
the Bear defense. Uh, we had Harbaugh, who was on that staff. We had Wink Martindale, who is now the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. We had Joe Daniels, who coached 14 seasons in the NFL. Joker Phillips, who was the head coach at one time at Kentucky. Man, it was just so many people. Uh, great atmosphere, great environment. Cincinnati was on the up and up. One of the reasons I went there is because they ran the spread offense, and I was familiar with the spread down at Georgia Military Academy, and just kind of fit right into what they were
Right in.
trying to accomplish there at Cincinnati. But program is doing a great job, man. It's going to be interesting. They got a lot of guys out there that are go getters. You know, when you think of Cincinnati, they're in the top four right now. Of course, they're going to be playing a perennial powerhouse in Alabama.
That's
But I
right.
tell people, I say, Cincinnati got some ball players. They may not be as deep as Alabama, but I
That's right.
think when it comes to, the first 11, they got a pretty good quarterback. I think they got defense, skilled guys on defense, two great corners, linebackers. They got some guys that are highly skilled on the defensive side of the ball. I think that if they come to play, we should see a pretty good contest
Yeah,
come December the 30th.
that's right,
All
man. That's
right.
right.
Yep. That's in a few
Yeah,
days
I'm
for
looking
everybody
forward
that's
to it, man.
watching.
Back at all that. We pull that one off. I guess I'm going to go back to talking junk again.
Ah, you about to get kicked
Gotcha.
out somewhere.
Yes, sir, man. It will be beautiful.
Hey,
It'll be
yeah.
huge for the program.
Yeah, it will, man.
It's been traveling in the right direction for a while now. Got a great coach up there, and you can see it in the body language, how the guys are responding, how they're moving around. You can tell, those guys, they got something special there, and
Okay.
the bonds are in all the right places when it comes to, the activity, how they move and respond on the field. Looks like the relationships are intact. You can tell when it's a little bit off because you'll start seeing discrepancies in communication and things of that. But they're clicking right now. They're firing on all cylinders. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, any bowl games you participated in while you was at Cincinnati?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah, man. I
humanitarian.
participated in humanitarian bowl, man. I remember leaving Gaffney, South Carolina, flying out on Christmas morning, man, and
Woo.
headed to it was like maybe 56, 57 degrees here when I got to Boise, Idaho, It was below 9 below zero.
Telling.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, the weather, I was shocked. And then getting up early in the morning, that big old blue field. I saw something and observed something interesting. I remember being out there at practice, man. And you know how geese, they fly in formation. Well, geese thought it was water because they had cleared the field. And man, it was just flying to it and plunged. And but I had the honor of playing in the humanitarian bowl. It was the first one. Of course, we faced Utah State Aggies, and we went out there, man, and we got that done. Of course, you know, I ended up getting a ring as a result of that.
All right, cool. So, talk about your process leaving Cincinnati. Did you enter the combine? Did you try to go as a free agent in the draft? What did you have a pro day?
Yeah, I did. You know, I did. The combine run, you know, of course, a big thing then was running. I wish I had known then at that particular time the level of emphasis. I could run. I was pretty decent. I had okay wheels. Wasn't no 4.3 or 4.4, but I could get out there and get you a 4.54, 4.52. I weighed about 190 pounds, but they were probably looking for a little bit more than that, man. It was a beautiful thing, man, to sit there and to see your dream about to become a reality, have an opportunity to work before all those guys. And I tell you, the NFL is a very interesting situation all in and of itself. A lot of guys don't realize what it takes, and not only to get to that level, but to play on that level and excel on that level. It isn't just talent, you know. You got to fall into the right situation at the right time. I mean, you know, the veterans, they're there for a reason, man. Those guys have done it well, and they've done it well for a long time. They know and understand the intricacies of the organizations, the intricacies of the system, and they just fit well with what that team is trying to accomplish. I tell people, I say chemistry, all those little nuances play a major role in you making the break. You know, I've seen guys like myself, you guys that are extremely gifted. You know, it's just it's tough. Not only takes, you know, it's a great sacrifice, a great commitment. But you know, all you can hope and pray is that, you know, God places you in the right place at the right time, and that when you get there, good things happen for you. I mean, you know, it's kind of like reliving and replaying uh, football all over again. It's like a different phase to it. You know, a lot of times we want to go into a situation on top, but it's hard to be on top when you don't know and understand the system.
That's right. Yeah. It's talk about playing in the living room, arena football.
Oh man, the fastest football game that I've ever played, and what I mean by speed, the field is from goal line to goal line is 50 yards. From sideline to sideline is 28 yards. And I was even fortunate in my arena playing days to have been a part of the Arena Football League. I got very fortunate in that situation. It isn't as easy as a lot of people think it is. I remember going into camp, man. I went in as a wide receiver linebacker. We call it Ace Jack.
That's right.
And I was up in Chicago, and they Coach Hornsey, which was a great guy, great staff there. Coach House, Coach Stan Davis, whom I stay in contact with to this day, was just a phenomenal guy. And I remember going in, and I was fourth on the depth chart, man. And then when you fourth on the depth chart, you got to find other ways to apply yourself and insert yourself to be seen. It may not happen at the position. It may be you running down on special teams, selling out and giving your all. Or it may be one-on-ones. For me, it was one-on-ones. And I remember, you know, Chicago at that particular time had just signed Derek Stingley, who's the son of Darryl Stingley, who played with the New England Patriots, whose son is probably going to be a first-round draft pick at Louisiana State, LSU. He's a pretty good ball player in his own right, cornerback, and had another guy there by the name of C. Lawson. And I said, well, I'm not getting a whole lot of reps in team, let me just apply myself in these one-on-ones. And so I got out there. I said, well, if I'm gonna make this team, I gotta go get the money guys. And man, sure enough, I went out there, man, and I was giving it to the money guys. And even giving it to the money guys, you know, coaches got an opportunity to look at you, to see you a little bit, what you bring to the table, how you move, how you process information, route running, and all that stuff. That's good, fine and dandy. But it was interesting how I made the Chicago football team. I was fourth on the depth chart. Remember being at practice one day, and the guy that was ahead of me, Troy Esprit, who played at Grambling, who was a phenomenal ball player in his own right. He was about 6'2", 6'3", about 220. And so he was bigger version of me. He's just as fast as I was, but he ended up spraining his ankle. And y'all know the saying, can't make the club in the tub. Yeah. So I got a couple more reps in practice, moved up to third. I ended up, remember Billy Dickens, who was the quarterback at Purdue. I was running across the middle, and man, he shot a bullet across the middle. It was above me. And I reached up with one hand and plugged it in. And the coach just kind of went crazy. And it was hard to read. It's hard to read Coach Hornsey. You never knew what was going through his mind. But, that's the first time I had ever heard the coach, get excited during camp. We were well off in the camp, and he ain't said a word to me. But to make a long story short, man, people were getting released every day. They were still bringing guys in. It was a proving ground. Oh, yeah. But to make a long story short, I continue, I couldn't worry about other forces and outside distractions and things of that nature. I continue to stay the course. But at the end of the day, I ended up going from third. I never moved from third on the depth chart in practice. But at the final cut, I was still around. I ended up going from third on the depth chart to number one, the starting receiver, first game of the year. Wow. And he did not move me from being third on the depth chart. And I remember my first game versus the Arizona Rattlers. I had 6 catches, 5 touchdowns, 177 yards. And that's coming from third on the depth chart.
Dang,
but that's what I tell people. I say, sometimes you got to have unwavering faith, man. You just gotta trust God. You got to believe in your abilities when nobody else believes in your abilities. Yeah. So what if nobody else is looking at you? You see yourself, and seeing yourself, that's what matters. When nobody else is watching you, you see you. I learned how to be a champion, man. And I didn't become great on the field in Chicago. I worked in the dark a lot, man. When I was back in Gaffney, I tell people a dream comes with much work, much effort, man. And I remember, KJ, we used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We used to grind, man. Part of it. I didn't want to go back to 3-bedroom house, 14 people. I didn't want to go back to eating cornflakes with a fork and out of a pot. That was my only option. Man. I didn't want to go back to, the streets. I didn't want to go back to that, man. And so, man, I learned how to just get it, man, apply myself. And 5 o'clock, that's what I did. And that was daily for me. Just get it. When nobody else was watching me, I was watching me. And it made it. I had to look myself in the mirror every single day. I had my objectives, my goals, all that stuff I kept before me. And I said, if it's going to happen, I'm going to be the one to make it happen, man. And so, God gave me this talent. He gave me the gift. But I had to go out there, man, and refine it. I had to go out there and sharpen it. The gift don't guarantee you nothing. You got to go out there and apply yourself. You got to get it, man. You want to be great. You want to make it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
We got a clip right here I want to share with everybody, but go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
If you want to be great, man, you want to make it, you know, pictures, portraits, man. They're not developing the light. When you take a snapshot, you go and develop a portrait, they go in the dark room with that baby before they bring it to the light.
Yep.
So
There you go.
oftentimes great
There you
people
go.
are developed in dark settings.
Mm.
You know, I like to encourage these young bucks out here, man. Keep doing what you're doing in the dark, man. Your greatness is not going unnoticed. You're
There
just
you go.
preparing
Word.
yourself, man, for the light, man. When you come out, you're gonna be all right. You'll be a
Gonna be
beautiful
right.
portrait. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and check this video out for everybody watching. We appreciate you tuning in this Sunday. We got our former University of Cincinnati Bearcat and former Grand Rapids linebacker and wide receiver Cornelius Bonner. Go ahead and subscribe to YouTube, Facebook, and follow us on Spotify and Deezer as well. We're going to go ahead and get into this clip. This is a clip with you playing in Arena League, thing with the Rampage. We're going to go ahead and get into it, okay?
Okay.
This night in Nashville, they are two teams who have lost their way, each on two-game losing streaks. One will see that streak come to an end tonight. Hi, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and as a result, I'm Eli O'Gold, Charles O. Davis. Glad you're with us this evening. Leon Murray at quarterback, replacing the injured Clint Sterner. Has time. A strike. Touchdown. T. 22 yards, and Nashville's on top 6-0. Tolliver beat Jeremy Udertle on that well-thrown football.
Really well. He didn't come up and give us a blessing so that you and I can perform better.
Corner of the end zone, Molden. No signal. Touchdown. Off by Jason Witzak.
He's dangerous, Eli. I saw him last week against Colorado bring one back 55 yards.
That was his lone touchdown, and there he goes, shooting the gap. Around Witzak, he's got another one. Touchdown, 57 yards, 2 weeks by Dan France. He is 6 of 9 this year in field goals. Kick on the way. It is up and right into the slack net for 3. So 3 points breaks the T-S-P-O-R-T-S. Checksports.com. Touchdown! He beat Jeremy Udertle 11 yards. 3 quarters to play. Leon's got time again. End zone touchdown. Cornelius Bonner. Bottom of your screen. Johnson. End zone grab. Touchdown Chicago. Cornelius White. That was 12 yards.
2 and goes for the win and capitalizes.
3 of 5 and third down conversions tonight are the Cats. Wide open, caught over the shoulder. T.T. Tolliver, touchdown. Udertle played game. Touchdown. That's the second of the night for Curtis Eason.
To try and go ahead and win this thing.
With 28 seconds remaining. Going for 2. Swings it out. Johnson. CJ is not going to get there. Cornelius Bonner stopped it. You live by the 2-point conversion back in early February.
Tacos.
There's the handoff, and Rupert Grant will get the forward progress to the 6, and that is going to do it because the Chicago Rush cannot stop the clock. So the first time they met, it was 56-55. The second time they meet, 48-47. Rupert Grant, the Iron Man of the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a big play you made on the sideline. Talk about that experience playing in the Arena League, like KJ called it, the living room.
Hey, man, I tell you what, it was full of thrills, action, excitement, man. You couldn't blink in it. Things happen so fast, man. And your processes. The arena game made me, I would say, mentally more in tune with things that could happen and that would often go on throughout the course of a game because it was so fast. mentally, I think it made me sharper as a ball player because of the time frame you had. In Arena League, it was just hard to recover from mistakes. So you learn how to eliminate them by paying attention in film room and studying and knowing your opponent. So, man, it helped me tremendously because if you thought wrong in the Arena League, whereas outdoors, if you make a false move, you can recover from it. But in arena, if you thought wrong, you would be due to how fast the game was, man. But it was high energy, wide open. It was like playing basketball on a football field. It was, man. I tell people, I said, folks get excited by Steph Curry shoot the three-pointer. The Arena League, man, it was nothing to go out there and score 60 and 70 points. And that's what we refer to as a shootout, man. It was fun, especially being a receiver. Yeah, I mean, every play, it was an opportunity, to go out there and make something happen. As a D-back, if you was in tune, you was good enough and you was on the same page with you guys out there, it was an exciting opportunity too as well. There were several games where I had 3 interceptions a game, but it didn't just happen because I was talented. I applied myself, man. I put in that time.
There you go. Right. So, how many years did you play in Arena League, and what happened after that?
I played 8 seasons, man. 8 seasons.
Okay.
And that's back when Arena League, and it's still good. It's still fun now. But it was pretty large when I started out in it. You had like 32 teams. And man, we were flying all across the United States of America. It was beautiful, man. Just a wonderful experience.
Okay, cool. All right, so talk about life after football. What do you have going on now?
Man, a wonderful family, wonderful wife, married to the Miss Carticia Bonner. We have a wonderful children, Gabriel, Faith, Joy, Michael. Man, just still grinding, still running like I was when I played football. Now I'm not running to make a football team. I'm running now to continue to protect, provide, and take care of this wonderful family that I have. Also securing the future of my children, man. And I'm running. I'm still running, but it's a different run. Instead of me, making sure I got my bases covered on the football field, I'm making sure now I got my bases covered on the home front, man. Enjoy what I do. A lot of stuff. Me and my brother, we do. Still got next level going where we train. We work with athletes, man, helping them to focus on goal-focused communication, making sure that their heads are in the right place, that they have a formula whereby, they can reach and achieve, their goals, teaching them the art of, preparing themselves, how to carry themselves, and man, the approach. A lot of young athletes don't understand, what they have at their disposal with the NIL that's in place now. A lot of people, our objective when we played, we wanted to get to the league because we knew and understood what that meant financially and how, that could position us. But now, man, just going to college and doing what you're supposed to do as a student athlete, I think you can set yourself up to be in a pretty good position as a college football player with name, intent, and letter. So we're just, trying to bring an awareness to these young athletes, the resources that they now have at their disposal. And if they would do the right thing now, man, it's easy pickings. And just, trying to help them to stay focused, keep their heads on straight, being respectful, manning your business, taking care of the tasks that are at hand. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Yes,
I'm loving it.
Yes, sir. So that's your message for the youth. I know that was mixed in that was going to be my next question. So before we head out, is there any shout outs or any coaches, family members, friends, teammates you would like to thank for your journey?
Man, everybody that I came in contact with, everybody that has impact my life, and you know who you are, that have played a significant role in my development. You know, I appreciate all you. Appreciate you for putting up with me, understanding me, providing grace, mercy when needed, loving me through it, and just being there. And this is the moment I'd like to tell all of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let me say this too to the young people, that this will help them tremendously. I remember I had 1 year, Jermaine, 1 year to do this thing. And that 1 year has allowed me to be in the position that I'm in today. I remember meeting a elderly lady by the name of Leola Manning, whom the doctors had gave 1 day to live. You know, just when you think you got it bad, there's somebody out there that has it worse than you. And 1 day to live. I remember going into my senior year. I had 1 year to make it happen. And being around that lady brought a tremendous amount of perspective, a tremendous amount of focus, definitely faith imparted into my life. And I said, you know what? If she could recover from stage 4 cancer and the family being called in several times, the coroner, she survived the morgue. I said, if she can make it through that hardship, I said, I can make it with where I am. And that kind of helped shape me. And she was there for me. Not only with my parents, but she was there for me throughout my tenure too as well. And man, I'm forever grateful. She's gone on, but her daughters, Tam and Vanessa, I appreciate them for, you know, sharing their mother with me. But whether you got 1 day, whether you got 1 year, whether you got 1 month, guess what? All you need is one. Get before the right person. All it takes is one person seeing you. And that one person, we know God is the one, but God can place you before people. And that one person can not only impact your life, but that one person, that one event, that one encounter can change your life for the rest of your life.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate you coming on the show, Mr. Cornelius. We have former Cincinnati Bearcat, Cornelius Bonner, former Grand Rapids Rampage. This guy's from Gaffney, South Carolina. It was a delight having you on the show. You guys just tune in to another edition of Sports Shop 27. I'm your host, Jermaine Coulter. To my far right, KJ. And again, we'd like to thank our special guest, University of Cincinnati Bearcat, Cornelius Bonner, wide receiver. All right. For everybody that's watching, happy holidays. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Deezer, and Spotify. We hope you had a safe holiday. And let's go ahead and finish the new year strong. Don't forget to cop that merch. The links will be below at the end of this podcast. And we'll see you next show. All right. Just like we always say, it's not how you start, it's how you what, KJ?
Hey, it's how you finish.
Thank you.
All right. You guys wear your mask, be safe, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, all right? Later.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
No problem. Peace.
Thank y'all so much, man.
We got it.
And go Gaffney. We beat that sport. Yeah, we got him, man. We knocked him off the hill.
Y'all did. It was
Congratulations
on
on that.
5 years straight. Yeah.
5 years straight, man. These guys got some fight down there, man. You know, it didn't happen early in the year. They were supposed to meet each other. But they ended up meeting each other when they were supposed to, which was in the that's what it boils down to. Everybody come to see. And man, they fought, man. And they got it done.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming
to
the show.
Thank you, brother.
You're more than welcome to come back, all right?
All right.
No problem.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.